You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
I love the lights. I love the lights.
The lights. Lights, camera, action!
That's right.
Guys, welcome back to our Harlots After Show on AfterBuzz TV. I am the sad face, if you didn't know that. I'm the sad face.
Aww.
I'm shook. I don't know what to do with myself. But I'm Linda Antwi, one of your co-hosts. And to my left, the spectacular English speaking.
Yes, of course. Yes,
Kittie
of course.
KaBoom.
Hello, everyone. So glad to be back. And this was crazy, wasn't it?
It was outrageous.
Absolutely.
It was
Can't
outrageous.
wait to dig in.
Me too. Guys, we have some juicy news and gossip for
Yeah.
you. Obviously, we're going to do our quote of the show because there were so many good quotes this episode.
I concur.
We're going to get into a little bit of a harlot history.
Yes.
And we'll do our harlot of the week and maybe some predictions.
Sounds good.
So, guys, let's just jump right in.
Let's get into it.
What were your overall thoughts of this episode?
Well, of course.
Without spoilers.
Without spoilers. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll just give the audience a little sneak peek into our personal lives. When I walked through the door, she was like, "Have you seen it? Have you seen it?" So she was clearly like, her energy was so, I couldn't wait to watch. Let's just say that.
I was shook.
She was shook.
I said, Kitty, I'm shook.
I know, right? But of course, she couldn't tell me what happened. So it's just like, just hurry up and watch it so we can talk about
I
it.
had to hop onto another show because I was like, I cannot contain myself, you guys. I cannot.
It was
cannot.
nuts. It was completely, I did not see any of that coming. I have no idea how they're going to continue with this big bombshell being dropped, but I mean, I'm up to see what happens.
I just want to say, for the record,
Yeah.
that I'm invested. So y'all better do better. You better do something about it because I am so upset
I agree.
right now.
I agree. Like, how are they going to make this right? They got a lot of explaining to do, Lucy.
Lot of explaining to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
So we open up the show with Lydia Quigley, and she's standing there like a psychopath in front of the burnt down house. And she is seen by Nancy and Fanny, and I just love that interaction. I love that Nancy's like a take charge, like, I'm not messing around. I'm going to go and confront her. Like, what is she doing here?
But that's what they always do. And that's what I love about them. Say what you will about what they do for a living and how they treat other people, but how they treat each other at the end of the day. You know what it reminds me of? And I could be wrong, and I'm sorry if I'm stereotyping, but it's black folks, so I can stereotype us. In our exact existence, or it has been my experience in our families, we're cousins, right? We go out, we get into it with somebody, you're dead wrong, you don't have no business popping off to this person, they done smacked you in the face. I'm jumping in, I'm whipping asses, I'm taking names later, and when we get home, we're going to have a discussion because you was wrong. But I would never not have your back. And that is a resounding yes when it comes to these ladies. And I love to see that. Like, no matter what the circumstance, no matter who came wrong with who said what to who. Check this out. That's my sister. I'm knucking bucks.
Yeah,
you feel me?
we talked about it a lot last week. I think that when push comes to shove, they band together, and I think that that's important because
it's paramount.
That's how they survive. Right? Because no one else has their backs.
Absolutely.
And then we fast forward and we jump into Charlotte and Isaac having a tryst in the park against a tree.
I tell you.
I was like, are these two falling in love?
Right, what is
they
going
have this,
on?
Like, love-hate relationship. And as we see gets revealed, she really does start to have feelings about him. Like, she tells Lucy, like, I'm hooking up with this guy and I like it.
Right. Like, I can't wait to see him. I literally can't keep my hands off him. And I love her response. Again, being the family that she is, not like admonishing her big sister for hanging out with this freaking idiot that tried to burn our house down. She's more like, girl, that's when it's good.
Get it.
Right?
Get it.
Like,
yeah.
get that. Come through.
Yeah.
Pull up. I love it.
So I thought that was interesting. What
It was cute.
Interesting is, and then they pan to Emily, who was doing her own thing in the back of that little car.
Yeah.
And she doesn't see them together.
Right.
But she's
far from stupid.
Right.
She knows.
And it's interesting with Emily because she's had a lot of growth as well.
She
knows
has.
when to lay her chips down and when to shut her mouth. Which before, we know in previous seasons, she was just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And just put it all out there.
Definitely.
But now it's almost like she's playing a game of poker.
I see that, or chess. And she's picking her choices more strategically. But I mean, she's still Emily, yeah. So we still have to look out for her mouth because she gets really emotional, and when she does, she doesn't really think very much. She just kind of hops off like, I'm not gonna stand for it.
And we saw that she almost did that.
Exactly my point. But cooler heads do prevail with her oftentimes, where she tried to. Well, we'll get to that scene, but there was a part where she thought 2 steps ahead of even her boyfriend. Yeah. And I wish that would have been successful, but we'll get to that.
And then we see William. So he's prepping for a fight, and it's the fight.
Right.
It's going to kind of be like the fight of the city.
Right.
And
that's a Floyd Mayweather thing going on.
So you had, and Lady Isabella is hosting it as a party, which I thought was great. So you saw them teaming up together with Charlotte. And then we also see Lucy and Elizabeth. Yeah. So they all come in, and Lucy introduces Elizabeth as her business partner. And Elizabeth says, oh, and your friend. And I was like, you know what? See,
messy.
Y'all, I don't trust her. Messy. I don't trust her for 1 minute, but yeah, I see how she threw that in there.
And I just want to know what your thoughts are on that, because when they walked down those stairs together and she kissed the back of her hand, I said before they get to the bottom step, she's gonna let her hand go, right? Like they're gonna walk in here like we're homies, we got appreciation and love for each other, but they're not about to be booed up, right?
Oh, so you're talking about Charlotte
and Isabella.
And Isabella. Okay,
yeah, I was a little confused.
No, so I was first talking about how Elizabeth was being introduced to the family. So to William, to Charlotte,
okay, I'm jumping up.
And to Isabella,
gotcha,
as the partner.
Right.
And I know partner, you thought, no, as
that's what I thought you were
as
going
a
with
business
it.
partner. So I don't trust Elizabeth yet, but I thought it was interesting that she's being brought into this mix.
Into the fold.
And then how she immediately took a liking to William and offered her services.
Yes, that was kind of her, wasn't it? How generous.
Right. How generous of you. You met me for 5 seconds and you have gifts for me already.
Well, I mean, this is what she does for a living, darling. Let us not forget.
Though? Is it though?
It kind of is. Like, she hoards herself out to the highest bidders. No question about it. She doesn't, like, settle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Most boards do, it appears. That's what we're seeing now, right? Yeah. Like, if you're a board, the assumption is that you don't get down with the crowd. But if guys are coming in talking big money, you know, even Lydia was quick to get on her back when the money was right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the money.
Exactly. It's always about the money.
Yeah.
So I did think that was interesting, yes, that she's now kind of sort of in the fold, bringing her son along with her. And I definitely don't trust her. There's nothing to trust. She's only shown herself to be quite the shark. And she just got here.
Yeah, but I think also, too, she's playing chess moves as well. Like she's strategically setting herself up because even, and again, I still don't know this old lady, but the old lady that owns a third of her brothel, right, when she goes to see her and she's like, where's my third? She's like, well, I don't have it yet because I'm still decorating Golden Square, all of that. That was a power move. And then to bring her the doll,
definitely,
that was a power move as well. So I think she's planning something. We just don't know what it is.
She's a plotter. Yeah. I'm getting the impression that she's plotted quite. I mean, look how she came over here, right? Very entitled, very, okay, I'm black. What's your point? Like, I got my Asian son and we do the damn thing and we killed it where we were. Now we're here and we're about to take over your town.
Yeah, I think it's more than that, though. I think that it's almost diabolical. I'm not sure what exactly it is, but there's something going on with her. So then we see that whole thing being set up. Yeah. And then the backdrop of that is Isaac and Hal and Emily, and how Isaac has no respect for Emily whatsoever. And she's the one that is the go-between. Exactly. And set up this deal for them. And they finally realize it's a good deal, but he wants to shut her out. What did you think of all of that?
Well, I mean, it just goes to speak to what we know as women to be the case in any scenario, right? Like, we literally do all the legwork. We do the research. We ask the questions. We put ourselves in positions where it might be very uncomfortable or even detrimental because we need this information in order for us to move forward. And what do we get for thanks? Sit your ass down. You're a woman. You don't need to go with us. You don't have anything to contribute to this. You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, it's just a dismissal that I'm sure you and I have seen many times in other kind of scenarios, but they didn't really mince their words back then. So he wasn't very polite in his request. But I really didn't like the fact that her bae let all that go down. Like, why wouldn't he snatch her up and be like, hello, it's because of her that we had this meeting?
Yeah, but he never stuck up for her. He didn't stick up for her last episode either. Right. But realized later on in this episode that he actually needed her. So, and we'll get to that as well.
Yeah, I don't care for him.
Let's talk about Lydia and Catherine before she's AKA Kate. when we get to that part. But
right.
So Catherine is basically down, which I told you as a prediction. She's like, she loves getting down. So she was all like, I'm ready to earn.
Yes, you were right.
Let's do this.
You were right.
And Lydia was like, okay, we're doing this, but we're going to do it
the right
way where you're going to bring in the coin.
Mm-hmm.
So she becomes Venus, and Lydia kind of takes her around town. Mm-hmm. What did you think of all of that? And what did you think when she is in the middle of like her speech or whatever?
That little poetry thing she did?
Mm-hmm, and then that Lord, the evil guy, was like...
Well, that's actually the quote that I chose. I thought it was super interesting that he only made one appearance in one scene, but he's so chilling. Like who he is as a human being, deep down, is so dirty and diabolical, as you said, to borrow your word. He's just he makes my skin crawl. Mm-hmm. So to see him be there just as Lydia's face, I mean, that would have been my face times 10. He's just disgusting.
Marcus of Block.
That's his name.
Marcus of Blaine.
Yes, of course he's Marcus.
Marcus of Blaine.
Yeah, because she always refers to him. Well, she always just says my brother. But either way, yeah, he's gross. He's disgusting. And I thought that I did think it was interesting that Lydia would do just as her former lady of the night pointed out. Like, you're just taking your girl around, kind of showing her off like she's a prize horse. Even for you, that's a little, because Lydia's always been like the highest upper echelon of class.
But you got to remember, this is how Lydia started. She started by parading these girls around, and
she has to go back to bare bones.
She had to go back to bare bones, and Kate is like her new Charlotte.
Right.
And they started from scratch and built this up.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of, why did I forget his name again? Marquez. Mm-hmm. We also have to remember how evil he is.
Yeah.
He's the leader of that secret
he's
society
disgusting.
that harms women.
Exactly.
And so now he's back. We know that he sent a warning to Lady Isabella.
That's right.
In the form of, hey, you know what? I know that you're a lesbian.
Right.
And I'm going to do something about it.
Right.
And so we have to be very wary moving forward because evil is back. So we thought, like, if you put it in a spectrum of things, we have Eyes the Pinchers that are, I was like, oh, he's evil.
He is evil. But he ain't got nothing on this guy.
On Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus he's pretty disgusting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he literally, the sight of him on screen makes me cringe. Yeah. Because we know what he's capable of.
And we know now that he's going to have his sights on Kate.
Amongst others.
Because
he might take that young ingenue and try to flip her into one of the women that he's abused in the past. You know what I mean? Just as like a double whammy. I'll take her for myself and do with her what I will, whatever I want to do.
We're talking about Catherine, right?
Catherine, right.
Yeah, Kate.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll tell, and obviously I'll pay whatever's necessary. And it'll be a get back or a major FU to Lydia because she's going to disappear. And appears to be her only girl, her only source of income.
And he's already stolen a girl from
Exactly.
Lydia,
It'll be a double whammy.
I'm sure, that's what's going to definitely motivate him. Let's talk about
what?
So let's talk about Jones Young. So Jones comes into town and he's an American.
Yes.
And he's the one that Emily has set up this business proposition through her guy, her regular. And they show up. They're like, we see a great opportunity to make money. We want to buy land in America. And he's like, slow down. I've been here for 5 seconds. Let me get my bearings.
Right.
But they keep on talking. And then you guys.
Who walks in?
I was like,
yeah, baby. Yes.
Welcome back,
exactly.
Margaret.
With all the fields. We love it.
Welcome back, Margaret.
Love it.
I knew we couldn't go too deep into the season without you.
I knew it too. I knew she was going to show back up. There's no way they just sent her off to the abyss.
Yeah, but we didn't know how she was going to do it.
Yeah.
And so she's back. She's married to a wealthy Irish American. Mm-hmm. And she looks great.
She does.
And I thought, wow, okay. What a comeback! What were your
If you had to come back, nice way to do it, huh?
What were your thoughts on that?
Well, obviously, I was surprised. I mean, I knew that she would be back at some point. I just didn't think it would be this soon. I thought it might be like next season even. So it was good to see her, and I like how demure she was, and I love that she was able to turn it on and off. You know, she sat across the table from these two men. Obviously, her husband has her ear, and vice versa. And so he's like, I don't make moves without my wife giving me the cosign. So I thought that was pretty dope, that she's just sitting there, you know, darning away while pretty much obviously she's holding the purse strings in the family, or at least she's big on, you know, it's a big deal as to what her thoughts are. So to sit across from these men that she has no idea might do her harm, but I love that she's so in the mix, like she's already done this, she's already lived that kind of life, that when they said that they were tavern owners, she said all manners of tavern, right? Like, let's be clear.
Yeah.
I know what y'all do. Okay, so don't come in here trying to talk to my husband might be a little green, but boo, you'll never get me.
Yeah.
Okay, I've already lived that life 10 times over.
Yeah, she basically did say that.
Right,
She's
so
like,
how
"These
much
are my
money are y'all
streets."
getting for real is what we need to know. Because that's sizing them up, right? This is not even like, I'm not even judging you for going into business in that particular business. I'm simply saying, as a business owner or a business partner, we can't do business unless you have real coin. So if you have women that work in your tavern, then you might have something substantial to contribute.
Right. Absolutely. So the deal is supposed to go through, but he doesn't want, like you said, doesn't want to make any sudden moves without his wife. So the pinchers go back. And this is where we realize that Hal says, oh, I'm going to need Emily to come back and kind of smooth the wife.
Right.
Emily not knowing that it's Margaret yet.
Of course.
And so they come back. And this is where Emily is like, okay, she's either going to blow this up because she can't keep her emotions in check, or she's going to be smart like she's been smart so far this season and not say anything. And she chose the proper route. She was shocked, of course.
Of course.
But then when Margaret took her out and said, hey, listen, basically, you stay in your lane, I'll stay in my lane, you keep your mouth shut, and I won't put you on blast.
Did you anticipate that? Did you think that that's how she was going to react?
I wasn't sure.
I thought she was going to blow up the spot.
I was like, she can go either way, because she kept going and like being all extra dramatic. And I was like, ooh.
Because she be hotting up everything. She's so conspicuous and unnecessary.
But then I thought about it. She can't blow it up quite yet because it's just the return.
Exactly.
So,
and she needs that coinage.
That will mean that she might not blow it up later. But for now,
she knows how to play her position.
Yeah, she kept her.
That was cute.
She kept her cool.
Yes.
And then moving on. So let's talk about the relationship with Charlotte and Isabella. So we see them. They've basically gotten busy, and they're in the afterglow, and they're talking just about them and the brother and all of the things that are happening. What did you think of that, how they were growing closer?
Of the brother and the, say it again?
What did you think of the relationship, how they're growing closer? So they talked about how her brother, Isabella's brother, is back in town.
Right.
And how she's sharing this almost intimate moment with her lover, Charlotte.
Right. What do I think about them getting closer? I mean, I think it's kind of beautiful, honestly, because they both live in such broken worlds, and they are besieged with negativity and craziness and men trying to basically keep their foot on their necks at all times, especially her brother. Like, he's the epitome of disgusting. So for her to find reprieve, you know, and find a little levity from her daughter leaving her, I know that hurt really badly. She wasn't able to have her for all those years, and she gets her back and she runs away again. It's like, well, damn, you know? So for her to find love in whatever form it is, I think it's beautiful. And I like that it is Charlotte, because Charlotte's smart enough that she's been around the block and she knows kind of how to maneuver things, but also savvy enough to know how to talk to her and communicate and relate to her in such a way that makes her feel, I guess they both are a little vulnerable at this point. It's sexy to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also think that Charlotte respects her. And I say that because at the party, when Isaac wanted to pull her away, she's like, no, I can't hear.
Right.
And it showed me that she really does care about Isabella.
Exactly.
And they have their own special bond. So I thought that was really great.
As did I.
And speaking of great, why don't we tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about our great network?
I sure will. Thank you guys so much for showing up today. We really sincerely appreciate you. I just noticed that my mole. Yeah, this is for the Harlots, darling. Anyway, we do appreciate you. You have literally made us the ESPN of TV talk. It is greatly appreciated. We're here every week trying to make sure that you're entertained, and we love that you're in our chats. The only thing we ask is that you keep coming back. You give us 5 stars, please. Thumbs up, please. Comment at all costs. And yeah, be engaged. Hook us up. Talk to us because we always want to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So then let's talk about Fredo. So Fredo is falling in love with his trick or John. Mr. Croft. And I
love that choice of words, but I love how you kind of wasn't sure, like, should I say it or... Yes, it's his trick. I love it.
Mr. Croft, who obviously we're starting to find out is someone major and powerful.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
In their city. What do you think of him falling in love? And what do you think of Lucy coming to the rescue at the party? Because he's all puppy dog-eyed out.
Right. Well, it kind of surprised me that he would fall so quickly for anyone, because this isn't his first time at the rodeo. This is kind of what he does. And it appears, we could be wrong, but it seems like his mama done groomed him to be in this world. So I just get the impression that he would be more savvy about how to navigate and not like how to take himself out of that and compartmentalize his feelings. But obviously not. I mean, I think this guy's probably like exposing him to things that he had not before. And that's always a sign of, you're just going to find your mate more interesting. Well, it's not his mate, but a person more interesting if they bring something to the table.
I was fascinated by it. I was like, really? You did not come across as if you
That's what I'm saying.
catch
Exactly.
feelings so quickly.
Yeah.
So what's happening right now? And
I think the fact that this guy has shown up and brought he shifted his paradigm. You know what I mean? He brought a different perspective. Every other guy that's coming there is like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, this is why I'm here. Whereas this guy actually has conversation for him. They talk about things other than just sex and superficial stuff.
I think it was really about him saying that, you don't have to serve me, you're my equal.
Yeah. That too. I'm sure that helped.
Him being seen as not only as equal, but being free to be open, because obviously we heard from the first episode that they could get killed if they get caught.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
And so him feeling free in that moment, like free to be who he is.
That was
okay.
nice. It was nice
I
to
get
see.
it. I get it. Now I see why you're like thinking you're in love. But
Right.
really, you need to put your wits on, because y'all could get killed
at any second. And I love that Lucy came in and saved the day, because that's what she does. Again, her mother taught her very well. It took her a minute to get there, but Lucy is full-fledged badass at this point, and so she knows how to swoop in and take care of the moment.
Yeah,
to save everybody's ass.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, what did you think of Nancy basically warning Charlotte about Lydia? Don't trust her.
Right.
Just don't trust her, because we're now all at the fight and we're all at the party. And everyone's showing up.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So what did you think of Nancy doing that? Still
You said to Charlotte?
Yeah, she warned Charlotte.
Not to... Oh, of who?
Of Lydia. Of Lydia.
Well, when did she do that? Because why would she need to? She knows who Lydia is.
Because when Lydia first showed up in the very opening sequence, and then Charlotte's like, later on in the show was like, oh, don't worry, just ignore her. And then Nancy said, no, you need to, she's a snake.
Right.
And a snake is a snake is a snake is a snake, and you need to
They strike harder when they're sliced.
You need to be wary of her.
Okay, so my bad. I was thinking that you were talking about when Charlotte warned the young lady about Lydia, Kate, and was just like, she's vicious. Be wary. Remember when she said that little?
Yeah, I do.
So that's what I thought you were referring to. So my bad. I thought that it was accurate, and she's absolutely right. I mean, Lydia is well, we'll get to that, but there was a part in the show where she could have shown herself to be a human being and felt something from a horrible thing that happened, and instead maybe for a hot second she paused, but at the end of the day, she is Lydia to her core, and it's all about making money. It's all about being on top. It's all about running things and manipulating situations and people. So I wasn't the least bit surprised.
Yeah. Again, it just shows me how the women stick together, and really, whoever the antagonist is doesn't matter because they're going to band together and look out for each other. Let's talk about Jack Lively. Before his fight, he is kind of like the doorman, I suppose. At Harriet's place, and a suitor comes and he sends the suitor away, and it was a major suitor. And Harriet freaked out and said, don't mess with my money.
I know that's right.
That money pays for my kid's school. It pays for this roof over our head. It pays these women. So cut it out.
Exactly. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
And he was basically in his feelings because he has feelings for her.
Of course.
And because she's the board or the board.
Yeah, she's the board.
That she shouldn't have to really take on suitors.
And I think that was his assumption going in. You know what I mean? Like, would I even allow myself to fall for this woman knowing what she does? Oh, okay, she does that, but she doesn't do that. So I think that kind of is what set his mind at ease and allowed him to let his vulnerability get involved. And I love the fact that one of her girls like set him straight immediately. Like, check this out. Don't come in here and start no mess. We are running just fine. And in order for her to live, this is what she has to do.
Like, don't mess with her money.
Exactly.
That's
period.
It. Don't mess with the money.
That's right.
So fast forward, we have this party and the fight between John Killan and Jack Lively. And we see Elizabeth all up in the mix again, flirting with William. Meanwhile, she has the guy that is in love with her and wants to marry her on his side, and he gets all jealous. What do you think of Elizabeth really kind of targeting William? What did you think of that?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say it's because they're both black, but I mean, it ain't but so many of us there. So that might have something to do with it, like a kinship almost like, oh, he can relate or he's relatable or he's my kind of guy. He's from my tribe or I don't know. I think she has something up her sleeve. I don't think it's an innocent flirting. I don't think that she's just genuinely interested in betting him. I think it has something, I don't know what she knows about him, but I get the impression that she doesn't do anything without some type of motivating factor.
Yeah, I think it's a power move. I think that she knows that that's Lucy and Charlotte's dad, and she wants to get in with him because if she can get in with them, whatever she's planning with Lucy, she can have an upper hand on that situation.
That's a good point.
So.
Had not thought of that.
I think
That's her motivation. Makes sense.
I think that's her motivation.
Makes sense.
And then we also see how she was really quickly to reel it back in because her guy got jealous. She's like, no, there's too many people here. I'd rather be alone with you.
Right.
Because that's the money, right?
Totally unbelievable, though. Her delivery was so corny. I was like, you going for this, bruh? You really believe that after she just lusted after homeboy, she just turned her attention immediately. As soon as you showed a little myth, you was right. She was right there like, no, my bad, boo. It's all good. You know, I don't want to be with nobody but you. It's crowded in here. Let's just sneak off somewhere. And he was like, all right, then. Come on, let's make it.
But you mentioned it in the first episode of the third season where she's making up all these excuses why she didn't go on the boat with him. It's the same thing.
You're
like
right.
She does not care. And she would tell him anything. And it's like, oh, well, believe me? And he's like, yep, I do. Right.
Her delivery sucks, but it still gets what she wants. So clearly these guys are smitten or something.
Yeah. And so this party is a big deal. Lydia shows up unannounced because she finds out about the party.
Right.
And she shows up with Kate, who is now her quote-unquote daughter because they bonded over this Venus, and now she wants to take on the Quigley name.
They're
so she's
so
now
ridiculous.
Kate Quigley, and Lydia says, this is my daughter, and Charlotte and Isabella's face is like, be pleased. That's the look that they were giving her.
Exactly.
And I was like, you know what? Exactly. You're crazy. They're crazy. But it all makes sense.
Yes.
So we see that. We also see Isabella and Charlotte, like you said, coming down the stairs.
Yes.
Hand in hand and really looking like they were a couple.
Exactly.
And I was like, are you guys coming out or?
I was befuddled. That is exactly what I was thinking. I was literally holding my breath like, wait, are they about to walk in together all booed up? What is happening right now? That would not be acceptable.
But it almost, you could take it either way. So it was almost like she was presenting, because she is royalty.
Right.
Presenting the royalty. So I think that's how
people interpreted it. Well, let's hope so, because she don't need no problems.
So we see that Nancy goes to visit Margaret behind the scenes, and they have their own special bond and are catching up over the last year, what's been going on.
Right.
And then Margaret really wants to know what happened at the house. Like, how did that house get burnt down? I know that you didn't tip over this stupid candle, so tell me. So Nancy finally tells her, and she can't let it go. And we knew she wouldn't be able to let it go because...
irritates me.
Who?
Margaret, why can't she let it go? You haven't been here. This is not your business. I get it. It's your daughter's. I do. But if Nancy didn't want to tell you to begin with and then finally gave in to you because she loves you and she's your friend, respect that gangster and just let it be. She always got to put her 2 cents in.
Yeah, but it's her brothel and it's her children.
No,
So
she lives in America. She's somebody's wife. That's not her brothel anymore.
Okay, so it was her brothel.
Yeah.
And she is the mama bear, so she is going to be protective of those children. And even though they're adults, they're still her children. So she decides to go to this party, which was big risk to herself.
Mm-hmm.
She could be killed. To warn her husband not to sell to the Pinchers because that's who she found out set the fire, which set a sequence of events in place.
Unfortunately.
So she shows up at the party. She warns the husband, but meanwhile, all eyes are on Charlotte and why Charlotte is talking to the American. Hal says, "Oh, you know what? It's you that we're going to wreck this deal. Go get your woman." So Isaac goes to talk to her. They're so in love that they're going to go upstairs and get it on. And then meanwhile, John comes back. Jones comes back. Jones Young comes back and says, "Deal's off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't basically do business with arsonists."
Right.
Hal goes off the ringer, looks for his brother, who's already lied about Charlotte and him being a thing, and starts to fight Hal. You guys, when I say I am not impressed with what I'm about to say,
Okay.
I was all the way not impressed. He goes to punch and, injure his brother Isaac.
Right.
Instead, Charlotte jumps in and he hoists her over the balcony.
The banister,
She
yeah.
falls to her death.
To her death.
Falls to her death.
I was
How
sick.
is it that Charlotte is dead?
The
How?
whole show revolves around Charlotte. How the hell are they going to move on from this?
Listen, Hulu, listen. Listen right now. I'm all in my feelings
She is
still.
the top person of the show.
So, for real, I don't know what y'all up to, but I don't like it. So,
It was horrible.
it was really sad. I was
Yes.
shook. I was shook. And so, we also see how unbelievably cold Lydia is.
She really is.
So, Lydia's with Kate and they're leaving because they got kicked out by Isabella.
Mhm.
She sees Charlotte lying there bleeding out.
Right.
Does she do anything? Does she call anyone? Does she? Nothing.
She hesitates.
She stands
She
there.
stands there for a good 3-5 seconds. I was surprised to see that.
And Kate, the new girl,
Yeah.
which was amazing imagery, but the new girl holds her hand and they stare at each other
Right.
as she's taking her last breath. And all in the meanwhile, you have Lydia, who started, who worked with both of them in their innocence and started with them and that whole thing.
Right.
And one's leaving the earth and one is just coming into the business.
Into the fold.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
It was
right?
crazy.
That was good imagery. I hadn't thought about it like
Yeah,
that.
it's really...
One making an entrance and one making an exit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Guys, I am not impressed. I know that in the live chat, let's shout out some of you people.
Yes, indeed.
Because they are not happy either. So why don't you go ahead and shout some people out?
So Lil L says Lydia needed to go. You're right, because Lydia has an agenda, and clearly she's all about her agenda at all times. So whatever that agenda was, she needed to go. She couldn't be bothered with this Charlotte person, who she obviously has no remorse or she don't care nothing about Charlotte, so I wasn't really surprised. Brianna Rowland said, if the writers think I'll replace Charlotte for Kate, they must be out of their minds.
I mean, and you guys, that's kind of
Good point.
where they're going with it.
It looks like it.
She's kind of the future.
Ugh,
But, I mean, they're really going to have some big shoes to fill.
I agree.
Guys, let's move on. Let's do some news and gossip.
Yeah. So in our news and gossip today, I wanted to highlight everybody's talking about it. I mean, it's all over the blogs that the woman that plays Charlotte, her name is Jessica Brown. Her very last show, obviously, that's what we're talking about now, is over. She's done. And it was just sad to see. So everybody feels some type of way. Obviously, her being the biggest protagonist of the show, there's a lot of back and forth in terms of opinion. Should she have been killed off? And was that the way to do it? And was this the time to do it? It's a whole, just like we're having a discussion. So I think it's pretty dope that people are invested in this character and that they feel so strongly about the fact that she is no more.
Yeah, I mean, she even says this Charlotte character changed her life. Absolutely.
And
she is an amazing actress, and
she is.
I'm just still shook, guys. Still shook. Let's go on to our quote of the show.
Yes, definitely.
So each week we pick a quote that stands out to us specifically from the show. What was your quote?
My quote was from Lydia Quigley, who in a moment of almost justifiable anger, right? She goes to the party. She has Kate take off her cape, and she shows that this is Venus, and then lo and behold, who's there of all people? Isabella's brother, whose name is at a loss. The brother, the horrible person.
The Marquise guy.
Marquise. Okay, so he's there, and the exchange between the two of them. In that exchange, Lydia looks at him and says, "You could not possibly guess what I'm imagining." Because, of course, he thinks that everything is solved with money. So his whole thing is, I'll pay twice as much of any money that you can imagine. And she's like, boy, bye. Because I interpreted that to mean you have absolutely no clue what I'm capable of. So what I'm imagining, you're thinking is a price. I'm over here imagining how to cut your balls off.
So, Yep.
Yeah, you have no idea.
So my quote, and I always have two, I don't know why, one in the beginning and one in the end. So my quote of the show is, you can change the face you present to the world, but you can't change your putrid soul. And Nancy's saying that to Lydia, which is so
apropos.
So apropos. And then I loved this when Emily and Margaret were having their exchange once Emily found out that Margaret was back. And she was like, I thought you were dead. They hung you. And she says, I have a slippery neck. Fantastic. Little L, you are so right. I'm reading your chat as I'm going through here. And they are always killing her off. They killed her off of Downton Abbey. You're absolutely right.
Look at you guys.
Why y'all killing her off? She's a great actress.
Right. She deserves to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Danielle Martinez, did you see what she says? I'm so upset. I might not even watch the rest of the season. Oh, Danielle, don't boycott the show.
Danielle, you're going to watch. You're
going to watch. You know you want to see her.
You're already 3 seasons in.
Exactly. Cut it out.
Let's talk about Harlot of the Week. Harlot of the Week. So each week we pick a harlot that stands out to us. And so my Harlot of the Week, obviously, is going to Margaret Wells.
Yes.
AKA Margaret Wells Young now.
Lovely.
And the reason why she is my Harlot of the Week is because we've been waiting for her to come back. And she's back, and she is going to be back with a vengeance.
No question. My Harlot of the Week would definitely be Kate. No, I don't believe that's a picture of Kate.
No,
I believe that's Charlotte.
Yep.
But anyway, Kate is definitely making quite the appearance. And now that Charlotte is gone, it's going to be really hairy to see who kind of rises in the ranks and whether or not she takes her place. And it's just a little disturbing to see that her first occurrence, her first interaction with sex, she believed was love. And now she's in a business where love has no place, but sex is the majority of the work that she does.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So because Charlotte was killed, I wanted to take a moment and pay some homage to her.
Okay.
So the lady in the pink, obviously we know her as Charlotte. She
Wells.
spent so much time on the show. We are so sad. Rest in peace, Charlotte Wells.
Yes.
You did the show well. You did the character well. And I am in shock and disbelief that you have died.
As am I. It's so sad to see you go. You are a phenomenal actress, very good at your job. And yeah, we're going to miss you. Such a strange turn of events. I definitely didn't see that coming.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, I concur.
Unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some Harlot history.
Okay.
So each week we go through and do a little bit of backstory of our harlots. And this week we wanted to talk about, and I just have to pull it up, bear with me for one moment. We wanted to talk about the history of one specific harlot. So if we can blow that up a little bit, that'd be helpful. In this photo, which is dating back to the 17th century, we found out last week that a lot of the characters are actually based off of real characters. And this week I wanted to introduce you to Mal Hakabost. Okay. She is actually Lydia Quigley's character.
What?
So she was a real madam who went to London and literally picked women off of the street, which is what she's doing in this photo, and luring them into their brothels.
The same way that Lydia does. She goes to the bus station.
Exactly.
Got it.
So I thought that was interesting, and that it's true, and that character is based off of a true story, just like how Charlotte is based off of a true character. So is Lydia character.
Quigley. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Really, really cool.
Yes, it is. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Guys, let's move on to some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What do you got?
My predictions would be, well, initially I was in denial. So my initial prediction was going to be that Charlotte was going to get the hell up off that floor and surprise us all. Maybe she has a broken leg, but she would be fine because I don't want her to be dead. But it's already been proven that she's dead, so I'll let that theory go and say that I predict that Kate is going to rise in the ranks and totally become the madam to get the go-to in town, but that she's not going to be beholden to Quigley. That's only going to last for a minute. Like, she's going to learn the ropes really quickly, and then she's going to F quickly. I think she's going to stab her in the back. I just feel like she's going to learn how to be mischievous and manipulative and horrible and take over.
I mean, I agree with that 100%. So I want to read something from Maggie Sandy, who is one of our viewers and fans out there. Maggie, we had a great conversation in the chats on YouTube.
Nice.
And she wrote, something I found on Instagram, though, Holly Dempsey, which is Emily Lacey's character, and Eloise, which is Lucy Wells' character, accounts, they've both had quote-unquote goodbye posts to their characters. I believe they also had a wrap party where most people said goodbye. So either they let a major spoiler slip for the season and future seasons, or the show is wrapped completely. Now, I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying right now.
Okay.
If Maggie is indeed true, what she's saying, and this is goodbye post, I pray, Hulu, that this is goodbye for the season, that we wrap for the season. I am hoping that we're not cleaning house here.
Yeah.
Meaning Charlotte gets killed, then Emily is gone, and then Lucy's gone. Because if you guys think about who came back, Marquise of Blaine came back, and he's the evil of the evil of the evil. We have this brothel being set up, this brothel being set up, this brothel being set up. But then we have a bunch of like loose cannons, Lucy being one of them,
Yes.
Emily being one of them. Can you imagine if Hulu decides that we're gonna like wipe out all the characters?
No, say it ain't
I'm just saying.
They would have no show. They couldn't be that ridiculous.
But they would.
But then what would the plot, like, how could we go on? What would, there aren't, the characters that are supporting are not strong enough to pull off the whole show.
Well, that's not true because Margaret's back. So Margaret is what season 1 was all surrounded by.
Right.
Season 2 was all about Charlotte. Season 3, because we're used to Charlotte, we're so saddened right now. But think about it. We went without Margaret for how long?
You're right.
Now we're without Charlotte.
It could be Lucy, could be next.
I'm just saying, Lucy's a main character.
She is.
Isabella's a main character. There are a lot of strong characters that the show can go on. So it's possible. Anything is possible.
I had not considered that.
Anything is possible.
True enough.
So I'm going to go lick my wounds, guys. And thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be here same time, same place next week.
Indeed.
If you want to interact with me, definitely hit us up in the comments on YouTube.
Please.
Reach out to me. I can be across all social media at Linda So Girly. And my wonderful Kitty KaBoom co-host. You can find her where?
My name is Kittie KaBoom, for the record.
Kittie KaBoom, Kittie KaBang.
No, you have to find me, so let's get it right. It's Kittie KaBoom, KITTIE KABOOM on Instagram, and Kitty Meow at Twitter.
Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.